Welcome. Another podcast here with I've Been Preaching. We have Wasim here on our left. Wasim, you got anything you want to plug?
Anything I want to plug?
You got anything big coming up, man? Or is it going to be like a chill February for you?
Nothing I can think of, man. I'm probably blanking on something.
That's good. It's Black History Month. It's not your time to shine.
Fair enough. I was on 5 Black History Months as like a token other ethnicity last year.
They need to be doing that.
0.
This year?
0 this year, which I'm cool with, man. You know, I'm cool with that.
You have 0 this
It was nice to be. I have 0.
Because there's such
I almost had
scarcity.
one, but I couldn't do it.
There's such a scarcity of like funny black comics that those are like, we'll get an Arab guy, he'll pass.
Yeah, they'll be like, we'll dust him up a little.
I don't know. Where you from? Africa? North Africa?
No, well, Lebanon.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Let's put him in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's crazy because it's not even.
I'm from Asia, West Side Asia, but still.
It's not even close.
That's interesting that they never call you guys Asians. Even though you are. Because I know geography. Like, cause I remember I looked at maps and I'm like, all right, North Africans are still Africans and you got the people in Europe and Western Europe. But then they never consider Arab people from Lebanon Asians.
Nor Indians.
No, Indians in the UK, yeah, they're referred to as Asians.
Yeah, in the UK.
Yeah.
And in that 66 million population, they're considered. But other than that, it's just no.
Yeah. It's also like
Them. That's it.
It's also like what's that in the country? Like Russia on some maps is part of Europe, and on others is part of Asia. Parts of Russia are, even like some parts of southern Russia are a part of Asia.
Yeah,
so it's like,
and you see it in their faces.
Yeah, 100%.
They have traits.
You know those Mongolian hordes came through and did some rapping. You know they got some Genghis Khan.
Yo, let's go, gang.
Those were the days. Those were the times.
Genghis.
The times, yeah.
Genghis Khan.
Did you know that they found that his DNA is in like millions of people?
It's like 1% of the male population or something.
God,
that's nuts.
That's dope.
What's 1% of like, what is it? Let's say 4 billion men almost?
Yeah.
1% of 4 billion.
3.5.
That's hilarious. You know,
3.5.
He get done fucking a girl and people like, all right, so till death do us part. And you're like, bitch, move aside. There's another broad coming in right now. Got my 5 p.m. appointment.
That was every day. That's
nobody talked to Genghis about fucking monogamy.
No. Don't come here. Don't come right here with that monogamy shit. Don't come here. No.
So you're into polyamory, Genghis? He's like, fucking leave. Your village is on fire.
Fucking leave.
I ain't mad at him. I get it.
Yeah,
I mean, if I was a ruler, it's like, that's why I hate anime sometimes. Because like you have these like overpowered characters, and after they save the world with their overpowered powers, they're like, they finally ask their crush out for a date, and the girl gets a little saucy with them. And I'm like, bitch, if that was me, I'd have slapped you into another dimension. Like, what is you talking about, bitch? I just saved the world. I take you out on a date, you should be throwing pussy at me. That's one thing I hate about anime characters. I'm like, they're gentlemen for some reason. I'm like, no, nigga, you won.
We need more scumbag anime people.
That's right. If they have scumbag anime characters, they're always like, they always fail at getting women. They always get turned away, or there's always some awkwardness.
You can't have everything.
Nah. You can never just get an anime character that gets mad poom poom.
That'd be dope, though.
And he owns it.
He has to be bad at something.
That shit annoys the shit out of me. I be watching anime. It's like, yo, take the pussy. Like, why you asking?
Bullshit. If you save the world, you should be allowed at least one.
Hell yeah.
One pastry.
I don't know what I was going to say.
One croissant.
Depending on how I finish that sentence.
If Goku had Instagram, you don't think hoes are sliding into his DMs?
You know?
Bulma's gonna knock that attitude out.
Let's go, man.
Because you know. Okay.
Why'd you say Bulma?
Is it Bulma?
No, it's Chi-Chi.
Oh yeah, Chi-Chi.
Yeah,
Bulma's the girl with the green hair.
Yeah. No, blue, but yeah.
I was trying to calculate 1% of 3.5 billion, and my fingers are too fat.
Yo, Genghis did his thing.
Yeah, but then again, it's like there was less people back then. It's not.
No, for sure. But I mean, but like today, today, 1% of the, I think, is the male population, because like it's in the Y chromosome, his gene or whatever that they've tracked. Obviously, because he's a man. 1% of all humans.
Yeah.
And like in Asia, the percentage goes up like
of course.
Yeah, because that's where most of the population is anyway.
Even West Side, I probably got some. I might have some gang. I don't know.
You do look a little Mongolian.
Watch out. Yeah, there's a little bit of that in my family.
100%.
My dad, people thought he was Filipino sometimes.
You could put it on your Facebook. I am Genghis. You can put that hashtag I'm Genghis. You can put that.
I don't know if it's necessarily something I want to support in this day and age. Or you're like, remember that guy who raped like billions? Whatever.
Was he
hundreds of
bad
thousands?
Because you look at.
I mean, for the time, he was killing it. He was the best.
Literally.
If we, with our present morality, yeah, he was terrible.
Well, I mean, look at Mongolia now.
Yeah. What about it?
It used to be the Roman Empire of Asia.
Yeah.
And now it's not doing so great. So I'm just saying, if you ask a lot of Mongolians if they could have Genghis back,
look at Greece. You know what I mean? They're not doing so well either.
Yeah, and if they could hit up Zeus and be like, "Yo, come back down."
Yo, Zeus, can you just,
That's the guy's mythical.
That's the only guy I know.
That's all they got.
Yeah. So
Alexander the Great? Oh no, he's Roman. He was a Roman. Yeah, he was Roman. Yeah.
So I don't know. All I'm trying to say is like, yeah, we can talk all that shit about like how bad he was and what he did to other villages, but I'm like, he did what he had to for his country, and I'm sure 100 years from now when America's a shithole, right, karma, and you ask somebody in Afghanistan about like American presidents, they'll be like, fuck those people. But American people today would be like, yo, this is the shit. Let's do what we want to do.
We need to
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
we need to make America great again. We need to bring it back.
They will need that. But yeah, no, for sure. Like you I don't know if this is the best quote, but it's like one man's terrorist, another man's freedom fighter, right? That's that's a famous quote, I think, like when the whole IRA thing was popping off.
Yeah.
But that applies to any conflict, I think, in the world. Yeah, it's like whoever you're... Yeah, like whatever the American Empire has been responsible for in the last like 60 years or so. There's a quote, like a famous quote from Noam Chomsky that people like they always bring up when I interview him, and it's something along the lines. I was like paraphrasing, but he's like, if we applied like the Nuremberg principles, like when the Nazis were tried, to like the last 20 American presidents or 10 American presidents, they would all be like hung. Like from what shit that they did, like things that would be considered war crimes.
Of course, yeah.
Virtually every single American president would be
guilty of war crimes.
Hung is, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's all relative. It's all relative.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Yeah. I just think about certain historical figures, and I'm like, their lifestyle must have been so different. But we talk about like wealth and income inequality, but like back then it was substantially worse. Sure. Like everyone else was a peasant. There was a couple of nobles. And then there was the high, rich people. Yeah. That's the time of royalty, right? So I look at Genghis' life, and people call him a terrible person. I'm like, he did what he had to for his people. And
then some. Yeah.
Yeah.
Extra.
Yeah.
He did the most.
Yeah.
Like it's just like when some people look at the Haitian Revolution and they're like, yo, it was a horrible thing. It was a horrible thing. The way they did their revolution and they killed people and they were just savages and stuff like that. I'm like, oh wait a minute. So you're saying that the people that were in slavery did something savage to free themselves? What the hell did you want them to do?
Right.
Talk it out.
Right.
Yeah, bro. Let's just let's chop it up. All right. No, last time you beat my ass, that's not cool. Yeah. Can you not do that again? And I cannot pick that much cotton.
Yeah. This is just a color thing.
There's no such thing as a peaceful revolution.
No, you can't do
Everything
that.
is bloody. It's always a bloody conflict. And if you judge people based off their response to oppression or to inequality, then you're always going to see things from a negative light. When in reality, sometimes it was needed. It's like, yeah, this response was unproportionate. But I'm like, no, if you look at the years of abuse that people have to take before they make that kind of change, it's understandable.
Yeah.
It's understandable. Now, look, I'm not saying here that murder and raping is good. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm like, I'm not surprised. You strip people of their humanity for so long, and then you're surprised when, in a moment of thrill and victory, they act like not humans. What do you think is going to happen?
You mean you want to cut my throat?
Bruv.
Yes.
Bruv, anyone who says that has never been in a conflict or has never been to war.
Or is in a position of privilege.
Or
that's pretty much it.
Because you look at any war conflict.
It was just a savage. Hey, man.
Look at every American conflict. If you look at what some kind of war crimes that they've committed while they were in Iraq and Afghanistan, look at the Vietnam War. Mm-hmm. Like, yo, animals.
But they got fucked they got fucked in the Vietnam War.
But they also fucked up a lot of Vietnamese people. It was a crazy place. Even to this day, a lot of the bombs that they planted are still there.
Yeah, there's still like babies being born with defects from like whatever.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. To this day.
Mustard gas.
To this day. So
it's wild. It's wild.
So that's why.
And look at the Middle East now. It's fucking. It wasn't phenomenal before, but like. Iraq, Afghanistan, they're not doing well at all.
That's an understatement.
They're not. It's not.
They're not?
It's not a walk.
This guy sees a cripple post-accident. He's like, this guy's not doing well.
Not doing well.
This legless.
He's not having his best
He's
day.
losing a lot of blood. He's you know.
I love history. History, like especially like from the Middle Ages, I've always been fascinated. So even characters like Attila the Hun and his roam through the Roman Empire, and like how he was pretty much like the straw that broke the camel's back, and just seeing like their trajectory, how they went north and like through the Russian areas and then came down south, and like what kind of wave it was. But you have to understand they were escaping a lot of problems from where they were in order to make that migration.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these conflicts are not born out of nowhere. They are reactions to something that was valid. And when we talk about these historical figures, it's always from a very unnuanced point. Well, they raped and pillaged. I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
that was how things
That
were
was the
at the
trend.
time.
That was the trend. It was what you had to do to concur.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. Hello there. I just want to take all your belongings. It wouldn't work like that. You
No.
needed to go there and
It would seem all your things are mine now.
exactly. You just have to go in there and do the savage. Do the
You have to
savage.
look at Sure.
Do the savage. You need to go in there and
That'd be dope if they actually sang that.
Everything is relative. And if you look at ancient times as everyone is a barbarian, you're always going to look at that. People from 200 years from now are going to look at us and be like, how could they let homeless people sleep outside in -4 degrees weather? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could look at anything. Anything, and you could find ways to call those people barbaric. But you have to understand the context, and if you're not willing to have that discussion, then don't discuss the character.
Yeah, and if you're gonna be offended by anything, you're a vegan. Oh my God, they're doing this. I can't. It's the same.
I
thing.
can't even get on vegans like that anymore because there's so many regular people that we have to cover in our day-to-day lives who get mad about everything
That's
that I'm like, I don't even think vegans are that bad.
No, they're not. But except when
It's just
they,
a self-righteousness. I don't mind veganism at all, man.
No,
It's
I don't
your
mind
choice,
them. It's
bro.
just when they ruin businesses and shit like that. But then again, they believe in what they believe in, so I get that.
Everyone's ruining business out here, and they don't got to be vegans. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you, most of the vegans I meet in my day-to-day life are very nice and reasonable people.
It's always the few. It's always the few.
But
It's always the
everyone
few
gets
that-
to that rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If we talked about Muslims the way we talked about vegans,
Everybody would be halal. I don't know.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
no, but it's true. If we did, the public discourse would be a lot more negative. It's open season and it's easy to mock vegans, and I'm defending them right now because I want to be vegan in a year, so it's just self-preservation. But
You just don't want to sound stupid later on.
now I want to ease my way in, make it easier for me when I make the jump. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's just like it's easy target. They're not a perceived disadvantaged group. Like, you can't talk the way about vegans that you do about Muslims. You can't do that. So it's open season on them. They're also a little annoying and they look a little self-righteous oftentimes. Yeah. And so it's just an easy target, but they don't deserve the rap that they get.
And they're weak, so they can't reply. So that's why we make fun of them.
Yes, their diet is great for us.
No history of suicide bombing either, so I'm not going to talk shit. You know what I mean?
Actually, I
can
think
talk shit about
vegan terrorism is a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
but no, they didn't suicide. Yeah, did they?
Not suicide bombs, but I mean, yeah, terrorism. If you deface someone's property, if you attack people, like if I walk down the street and someone throw paint on me because I'm wearing that's terrorism. You try to terrorize me into not wearing something.
Vegan terrorists.
Based off your political views.
Yeah, it's just,
I wasn't insinuating that Muslims were all suicide bombers. There's just no history. That's all.
It's too late. The Arab see you.
It's trying to be a joke, and then
That's
it
the
came
thing
out
about
very
podcasts,
seriously.
man. It's
Yeah.
so easy to put your foot in your mouth because
Yeah.
you're just riffing on ideas.
And
people,
especially if you're trying to make a joke with a straight face, and then we glance over it.
Yeah,
And
and
if I don't
nobody
get a
makes a
laugh from you
remark.
two, it's like, oh, so he thinks.
Okay, so the whole group is like that. Boom.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Yeah.
Take that. Let's take that shit out of proportion and be like, let's take that shit out of the context. Put it there. See what they did? You didn't watch the
Yeah.
whole clip. You just
Yeah.
took a little snippet of it. But by the
For
time
sure.
it goes in a wildfire, it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I think all my revenue streams are not locked into stuff where I have to worry about that. So I'm willing to take those risks. But just like you said in the last video about me talking about like, oh, it's great that we have mass shootings today because it's like karma for like whatever, right?
The way they're gonna take that.
They could take it out of
Oh
context.
yeah, for sure.
And I could
already
definitely
regret saying it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's flashed in my head a couple of times. I'm like, I might edit that shit out, but I'm not going to. But it's all this to say. It's like.
Yeah. Some jokes don't land.
No, and some people shouldn't be doing podcasts. Look at T.I. You know, T.I. got a little comfortable and said some really zany stuff about his daughter on his podcast, basically saying, like, I take her to the gynecologist and I check her vagina for a hymen, right?
Okay. I just saw a little Twitter blow up, but I didn't really dive into it.
Yeah,
Like,
but he was on a podcast.
He did,
And, you know, that's why I tell people, like, that's why I always said before, I'm like, niggas talk too much.
It's comfortable because you're right there. You know, you're just chilling, talking with your friends, chopping it up, chop.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
And everything is all good. And then you catch yourself slipping. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, that locker room talk. But it's just now that, you know, we
sure.
set the microphones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the way people are going to think is like, yeah, you set the microphones, you set the cameras, so you intended to say that, and they're going to go on a tangent. You know what I mean? So it's really easy to fuck your whole thing up.
But absurdity is fun. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's fun to be absurd and just to test ideas. And what people don't realize is, like, it's not a reflection of your views. You know what I mean? I'm not glad that people are dying in mass shootings. Just an idea of exploring, like, yo, if we had to pick between A, would you take a couple mass shootings a year? Or B, 200 people a day are dying in New York to knife and gang violence?
And the people are gonna take they're gonna shortcuts. What's really dangerous about this shit is shortcuts. And people just yeah, you're right, and they're not even gonna notice the shortcut that person took that makes it egregious. No, that's not what that's
the context.
The context. You took a shortcut. You skipped the context. Took the shortcut. Yeah, I understand that, but no, that's not what was said. You took the shortcut. You missed a whole bunch of things. You took the shortcut. You missed a bunch of scenery. You know what I mean? So that's the thing that people don't as well. People nowadays, I don't know if it's because of the media and because of where everything we have access to all of this thing. People don't think. It's like they're too lazy to think. It's like it's too. I got the information there. I take it and go. I take it, I go. I take it and go. That's it. I have it, I go. And they don't even think or reflect. What do you actually think about what you read? They don't ask themselves that question. They're just, okay, that's the information. I have it. I'm running with it. And that's the truth.
There used to be a time where we were like, man, people can't get information, and that's a problem. And now people have too much information,
Right.
and that's a problem.
Yeah, sure.
It's an interesting thing. But yeah, context is important. And I'm sure Genghis Khan is somewhere in heaven being like, I told you niggas, like, put some respect on my name. And I agree. We don't give people the due deference that they deserve.
I didn't know that was the conclusion we were trying.
I mean, like, we talk about you got to take the whole context. I'm like,
Sure,
Genghis is also like, the
historical context, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for like, because like sometimes the funniest thing to say in the moment, at least in my sense of humor, is sometimes the darkest thing, and you're just saying it because I'm hanging out with my friends and I just want to get a laugh, and hopefully somebody else will laugh. But one person's gonna be like, "Oh, so you think students who die in mass shootings deserved it? Okay, my son," and you're like, "Jesus Christ!" Like,
devil's advocate.
Snippet moment.
Devil's advocate. Ari Shafir could say he did the same thing when he made his comments.
He did.
Yeah,
but he actually did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
So because of the backlash that he got, which deservedly so, do we deserve the backlash that we potentially get for comments?
If you get the backlash that you deserve because you said what you said, I mean, to a certain degree, yeah.
It's up the person giving you the backlash to make an argument. Like, he put out a video where he kind of straight-faced kind of was, you know, just like, fuck this guy. I don't care about his death. He deserves to die or whatever. Like, straight face. There was no punchline. There was no. The context of what, like, it's very clear if you comb through what I said. There was an attempt at a joke.
Right.
Jokes don't always land.
Right.
But when I'm doing a set at a club, I've written shit. I've edited it. It's stuff that if it's new, I hope it lands.
Might not land.
Exactly. In a conversation, you have 1,000 things that don't land constantly. You know what I mean?
It's just the difference with Ari is just that, you know, you're doing this and they're taking shit out of context, and it's going to be fucked up. But Ari, even in context, this shit is fucked up.
Yeah. And just to give you guys context, if you're listening, Ari Shafir is a comedian, and when Kobe Bryant passed away, literally that same day, Ari got on Instagram and made a video where he's like, I'm glad he's dead. It's awesome. This and that. And then the end of the video was about like 40 seconds. But yeah.
But that's the thing. I don't think he actually meant what he said. I don't think he meant it. Because he has a record of doing all those things with a bunch of people, even people that he liked and respected. That's not the point. It's just that he did it. the pizza was, when we received it, the pizza was upside down. The delivery was messed up. And actually, also, when you said the thing that you said before, your intent was not to get at people. It was not to mess people up. That was not the point. It was just like, oh, well, you know, I'd rather this and that. You're asking the question. And that's why I'm saying you have to think, and people don't think anymore. Your point before was just like, you know what, I'm just putting it, would you rather this or that? We're just asking the question. Him? It was to rile people up. It was to get people. It was to cause a reaction. If it is to cause a reaction and that's the reaction you got, but what are you surprised about?
But look, my example, so what I said earlier is probably not, but like, let's say if you just say a really dark thing in the moment.
Yeah.
That is to get people's reactions going.
It's the same thing. I agree.
Yeah.
I did the same thing on a more minor level. I should be...
On a what?
On a more minor level. Yeah, that's it.
No, but my whole point is like, let's say if this podcast blew up and then he got in trouble for that one thing. Is it justifiable? That's my question to you. Because when I look at Ari's thing,
understandable.
When I look at Ari's thing, what makes it really specific to me is one, it's just a short clip. There is no greater context to understand the whole idea of what he does on a regular basis. Whereas in this, you understand where the conversation's coming up and you understand where that comment came from. And so you understand the vibe because it's not. We didn't see Ari in a 1 hour conversation and 1 minute of it was fucked up. It was just 1 minute and that's it.
Yeah.
Right. So if you take things out of the context of like,
oh, I got hacked.
Yeah.
I got hacked.
Well, apparently that's part of his act to like emulate how celebrities behave when they claim they got hacked after saying something fucked up. That's what he does to replicate that. I learned that afterwards. But all this to say, at least we know that in a podcast, things are going to get said. It's not going to be all cut and dry. Like this is where people have regular conversations, and then within the length of that, there might be some fucked up parts. Yeah. So,
and I'm fine with that stuff I thought of. Like, we've done, 5 or 6 podcasts together?
Yeah.
And I felt like I caught myself slipping a few times. I'm like, that joke didn't land and it might be perceived as dark. But I'm like, I'm comfortable with that being out there. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
Like, another thing, too, is when you're listening to... I listen to a lot of comics podcasts. Like, I hear way more fucked up shit, right? But it's also, like, these are famous people. I've seen their comedy. I know them. I know what to expect. Somebody may come with a fine-tooth comb and come through, but it's like, what am I going to do, hide under a couch? Fuck that.
And we know,
you know what I mean?
We know
like,
what to expect from
Abby
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like... Expected. It's just that people got pissed off, and it's like... that was like the last straw. It was like the... You know what?
Really? I don't think it was the last straw. It was the first straw. We know what to expect. Most people don't know who this man is.
Most people don't, but that thing that happened is that with that thing, it put lights on the other straws. The other straws that other people didn't know about, like it put a little bit more light, shed a little more light on that. People were like, oh no, he's a fucked up dude. He's a fucked up dude. And the story, like when he said what he said about Kobe, that was that. But then people looked into it, and the next story that was after that was, oh, so he just likes to willy-nilly just drug his friends like that in front of his kids.
Most people actually already knew about that. Like the people who knew about that are people who follow Ari.
Yeah.
Right? Like I knew about it because I'd watched a Rogan podcast and I heard about that story. What I'm saying is that most people, gross majority, only saw that one clip and they were like, who's this man? Fuck him.
Because they didn't know.
But they also didn't want to know anything else. They saw that one thing out of context and that was all they needed to know. You know, people didn't go digging to find out other things that he had going on. Most people were just like, yo, fuck this guy. And they started sending death threats and everything. Even when he explained the context, people didn't want to hear nothing. His career is messed up. But speaking of comics who say fucked up things on podcasts, I wanted to bring something up. So why don't you tell us? I'll handle ordering. Why don't you tell us about Brad Williams, the Hobbit?
The Hobbit. You called?
A very funny comic, though.
Is he?
Yeah.
I've seen him on the Nasty Show.
Brad Williams on a podcast, on another podcast. He was telling a story about him meeting a girl and stuff like that. And he said that he got into his hotel room and the girl at some point, she's like, oh shit, you're fucking me. She didn't even know. They were just, it's like, yeah, I'm inside you. Basically admitted to having non-consensual sex with the girl.
Right.
Right there and then. So, and people, and the guys called him out on it. It's like, yo, that is...
Well, one of them did. The other one just laughed. And he thought it was funny.
And I can understand because, like, you're going to say some fucked up shit. Sometimes, like, I'm going to be like...
Right.
Did you? You know,
I laugh when I'm uncomfortable.
Be laughing.
So,
I'm gonna be like, I'm probably gonna be thinking. So I can't even say that the other guy was just really just laughing about it and stuff like that. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you laugh, but it's not because it's funny. Sometimes you laugh because you're uncomfortable. Yeah. Sometimes you laugh because you're not at ease. Sometimes you laugh because shit is not funny.
Yeah.
Number of times I see someone bomb and this motherfucker right here is laughing his ass. That was not funny. And you're laughing at how unfunny that thing is. So anyways, all that to say, and yeah, Brad made an apology saying that, well, that story was, you know, fake and stuff like that. It was not real. It was not a real story. He just said that to make people laugh. I don't know if it was real, whatever, whatnot. Nobody came through.
Right.
But yeah, that's what happened with Brad.
Shit, I didn't hear about that.
You didn't?
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't get, but that clip, I was like,
and
you could tell he didn't realize what he did was
until
messed up.
Okay, yeah.
And one of my girls, she sent me the clip, and she's like, because we were chilling last year at Just for Laugh, and he was there.
Yeah,
he was there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So she saw him a couple of times, and she was like, "Yo, do you know what he did?"
Oh, so this is a long time ago.
No, it's recent. I was like, she sent me the thing like about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So
I thought I got you. Yeah.
About 3 weeks ago. So that's pretty much what happened.
Damn.
Yeah, you're gonna order a lot. We're gonna do mukbang here.
Oh, it's fine. I'm handling it. But yeah,
we're gonna
when I heard about
mukbang tacos.
No, but when I heard about that, I remember just thinking like, oh, this is like someone who doesn't realize. And everyone else is kind of like whatever about it. But that went up on a podcast clip, and it didn't catch fire because I don't think Brad is that much of a high profile person, and he's also a hobbit, so it doesn't look great.
Stop calling him a hobbit.
No pun intended. He is a big comic.
What is the term?
Little person.
Little person.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought the medical term was hobbit?
No, I thought it was like dwarf.
Yeah, but
I think dwarfism is a scientific thing.
It's one of the illnesses of that little people are.
Did you just
affected.
call it an illness?
Yeah, it's an illness.
Flip this table.
It's just like if you what was there people in
the darkies?
No, Dragon Ball people. You know all them people with the
darkies,
slanted eyes.
The Dragon Ball people.
The Chinesey people.
The dragon. The fucking stick.
What's worse, Chinesey or Hobbit? Like, what's worse?
Hobbit. I think Hobbit. Because Hobbit is not even
Chinesey.
Yo, Hobbit is the character in the fictional movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hobbit.
That's funny.
But so are dwarves.
That's funny.
Right? Dwarves are in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but they're taking from an actual word. Hobbit is a made-up word. Dwarf is a word that existed before Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Okay, Hobbit is a made-up thing.
It's true. The book was called The Hobbit. I don't know about it. Yeah, probably.
It's like if I call all bald people Voldemort. You know what I mean? It doesn't exist.
Easy now. Now you're getting close to home, Preach. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, the little person. I don't know, little person just.
It sounds condescending.
It does. It sounds.
Actually, he has a bit. He's a really good comic. I saw him at Nasty Show, and he has that's his whole bit. I think one of his whole bits is like how condescending that sounds. I hope that's not another comedian's bit.
It's just hard to know what to. I will acquiesce that Hobbit is definitely not it, but little person.
Hobbit,
but that's
a word that does not exist. Sure. It is in a fairy fucking tale, bruv.
Yeah.
Hobbit.
Hobbit sounds like I'm. Yeah.
But to be fair, the hobbits are the heroes of that movie.
Doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? It's not like
it doesn't matter.
It's not like I called him a goblin.
Fuck out.
You know what I mean? Frodo saved Middle Earth.
Oh, that's so great. That's a great justification. Whoever gets mad at you,
I'm just saying.
Combs through this, tries to cancel you because you said Hobbit. You're like, they were the heroes.
I called you a hero.
They were the fucking heroes of that shit.
It's like if literally I called you Kal-El. That's not your name, but technically you're Superman. So yeah.
Kal-El is pretty good.
Kal-El?
Kal-El.
That's Superman's real name.
I thought it was
from
Bryce
Krypton.
Lewis. Oh, no.
Whoa!
Bruce Wayne.
Whoa!
No, that's Batman.
Right? Bryce Lewis. It's like
he looks like
that's a football name. That's a football player.
From
name.
Krypton to Bryson.
Superman,
Bryce Lewis. No.
I stick by it. Google it. That's his name.
Nigga said Bryce.
Bryce Lewis. Bruce Wayne. That's Batman.
Bruce Wayne is Batman, but no, Superman is what color?
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent. That's what I meant. Bryce Lewis. Come on.
Bryce Lewis.
Okay, picture a guy named Clark Kent.
Bryce Lewis is black.
Bryce
Lewis.
No, he's got a crew cut. He hangs out with black guys, but he's white.
Bryce Lewis.
Y'all got me fucked up.
Bryce Lewis is Bryce Lewis is black. Ivy League school. Ivy League school.
I see an Ivy League school lineman, white dude, crew cut. His friends are black, but he's white guy Bryce Lewis.
It's Bryce.
He burns in the sun.
I feel like Bryce Lewis is the name of a black guy that speaks like, "Hey, hello there." He's like the Carlton Banks.
Right.
Is Bryce Lewis's best friend.
I was thinking of Black Superman. There you go. Black.
Keep ordering the tacos, bro. Bryce Lewis is Carlton Banks' best friend.
Go talk to my Hobbit friends.
Yeah.
Hashtag bro, man.
Hashtag Bryce Lewis. What's his position in football? Or does he practice polo?
He's a safety. He used to play polo.
He used to play polo?
Yeah, but he can't because of an injury.
What's the name of his horse?
Clarence. He's a good horse.
Clarence is a good horse.
He's a good horse.
Clarence
he eats
is a
all of
good
his
horse.
oats like a big boy.
Bryce Lewis. What's Superman's name?
Clark
Bryce
Kent,
Lewis.
bro. Hey, Clark Kent, Bryce Lewis. That's virtually for me. That's like this.
That's the same thing.
Andrew, Steven. That's the same guy.
Bryce Lewis.
Bryce Lewis, bro.
Bryce Lewis, Bruce Wayne, and Clark Kent are walking down the streets.
Bryce, that's good, man. I'd
Bryce
stick by it.
Lewis. Oh, that's funny.
But he looks like that could be his name.
So what kind of superhero is Bryce Lewis?
Bryce Lewis, man.
Because you got Bruce Wayne as Batman, Clark Kent as Superman. Bryce Lewis is?
So Batman he's got a belt.
He's got a belt. He's got a
Superman can fly.
Yeah.
Bryce Lewis.
No, Batman got money and white privilege.
Batman got money. That's right.
Just like Iron Man.
Yeah. See, Bryce Lewis has both those things, but he doesn't flaunt it like they do. You know what I mean? He's not out there like, oh yeah, I got a cape and shit. He's just a dope dude, man. That's
Bryce.
his superpower. He's Bryce, bro. He's a good guy to party with. Can do keg stands. He's a good wingman.
Is he Alfred's unknown son?
Who's Alfred?
Alfred is
compared to Batman, he's a little person.
He's a hobbit.
Alfred is actually fucking gangster. He's the butler for Batman.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And honestly,
So
his character is so underrated, but he's so well done, and he was really done also well in I believe the one with which not the current iteration of Batman, but the one that they had before.
Bale. Christian Bale.
Remember when he says the line, "Some men just want to watch the world burn." Mm-hmm. That became the best line out of that whole fucking series. Mm-hmm. That line became like the epitome of like explaining chaos away. So Alfred's character often gets like unrewarded, but he's actually a great fighter. He's ex-military. He's really good at what he does. He basically holds down the fort. He's a ride or die. He's a Michelle Obama. But with like actual tactical skills to fight in the field.
There's a theory about just Alfred, and there's like a little how'd you call it? A spin-off of Alfred.
Yeah, he has a huge, deep story.
Yeah,
so people don't put respect on his name, but Alfred's a great character.
Shit, man.
And it's a great name, too. Alfred's a good name.
That's a name for a butler.
Yeah.
What are you going to be? If your name is Alfred or Jeeves, it's over for you.
Jeeves?
You got to be a butler.
Alfred's one of those English names that really was going to age well.
Yes.
You know?
What's the name of the Banks' butler?
Oh, yeah.
Jeffrey. That's another good butler name. Jeffrey. That's a good butler name.
Yeah. Alfred. Yeah, Alfred's a great name.
Yeah.
Fred is garbage. And Al is garbage. Alfred is fucking beast.
Yeah. Fred is not a ride or die, you know? Alfred.
No.
Fred is going to abandon you at the first sign of weakness.
If the zombie apocalypse hits, there are no Freds left.
You can borrow, a couple of tools from Al, though. He's my next door neighbor. You know what I mean?
Al does
Al's alright.
Yeah.
Fred, maybe a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Al is alright. Alfred, fucking G.
Yeah, that's right.
And Allie's a hoe.
Who?
Allie?
Allie.
McBeal?
All Allies.
A female Allie or like
when I've known Allies growing up, they've always been girls. And I say that just because there's one porn star I used to watch. His name was Allie.
Based on one.
She's good. Yeah. She wasn't attractive, but she was a hoe. on camera.
Fine.
Like, you know, there's some women who act and there's some women who hoe it up.
Which is good.
Yeah, respect.
Shout out to all the girls that hoe it up.
Yeah. I love it.
Shout out to all the girls out there that's hoeing it up.
I don't want to see
hoe
some
it up,
fake
hoe
shit.
it up.
Yeah.
No, I like it when girls really enjoy it. That's why I find it weird whenever I see a scene and it's just like focused on the penetration part. Like, you know, scenes where like they fucking, but like the zoom in is just on like the penis entering the. That's weird to me. I'm like, nigga, this is not anatomy. Like, show me the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I find that weird. That's me personally. But I want to bring something up to y'all.
It's just like if I'm watching a cooking show and you just film food going into mouth. No, show me the whole thing.
Right.
Show me the experience.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Yeah. But I want to bring this up. I was on a date with a girl and we were sitting down and halfway through the date I noticed something where she was like wearing a choker.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is a choker is a black belt in sucking dick. Continue.
And so me and this girl were talking, and I was like, "Yo, you know, you're like, you know what the choker signifies? Like, you know what that kind of message it sends to people?" And she's like, "No."
In the butt?
and then I didn't, because listen, I don't slut shame people. For me, if you're a whore, do your whore thing. I don't give a fuck. Live your life. I've never asked a girl what her number is and like midnight. I don't care.
No.
But I was just curious if she knew like how it's marketed. You know, a choker.
Yeah.
What's your perception of choker?
I didn't know until other people we talked about it, and they're saying exactly this, that it's like you're just into like being choked.
Yeah.
You want to be choked constantly all day. So maybe you just like,
because the only iteration
It's
of
submission, basically.
the only iterations of chokers I knew before chokers was like dog collars. And like I know with BDSM they do wear similar. Like what other
people who like the fashion though, you know?
I think it had a resurgence recently, but
That
I
is
feel
second, that's we're the second coming of the chokers.
Second coming.
That was a first coming of the choker in the 90s.
Coming in this discussion seems very inappropriate, but
we're talking about chokers and fucking penetration.
I was being sarcastic. So my thing is, prior to that, I'd never seen chokers. You know, like, and when I did, it would always be in a BDSM context. Do you guys know anybody growing up who would wear chokers around you?
It's like it
was a niche thing.
Yeah, because
You did?
I was here in the 90s. You weren't. Over
Okay,
there.
so tell me what that was like.
It was people were wearing it like they wearing it today.
Word.
In the 90s.
Word.
So it was like that. I know my dad would be like, hey, no, like he wouldn't let my sister wear a choker, or you know, but because of that,
right? But then my also thing is like, isn't it weird to wear a clothing item like that? Like, obviously, it doesn't restrict your breathing, but it is a weird thing to wear. Like, I wear a necklace, but it's not tight around my neck whatsoever.
It seems very uncomfortable.
You're a guy.
Even women. I don't know women who okay, chokers aside. What other clothing item do women wear that's tight around their neck?
A blouse.
Turtleneck?
A turtleneck's gonna be tighter around the neck.
His turtleneck?
Necklaces are closer around the neck.
I will concede the point. You guys are right.
So
I thought I had a hot take, but I'm like, nah, nigga, it's
even
not.
men wear turtlenecks too. So it's just you're a dude that wear loose things. You know what I mean? But yeah, especially in the 90s, that shit was thigh.
Oh, and I used to wear dress shirts, and them motherfuckers was nasty, bro.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
so let's move past that and let's talk about the choker. So we know the perception.
The perception for sure.
Take it in the butt.
So I told her she was shocked. She's like, I've been wearing chokers for years, and I'm like, word, are you a hoe? And she's like, she got taken back, and then I got taken aback because I just say
I was like, bold move. I got sweaty. I was like, shit.
You got balls.
Here's the funny thing. She's like, well, I do like fucking around, and I was like, oh,
nice.
Well, good.
We need to stop like that whole shit slamming. So there's slut shaming, hoe slamming, whatever. Yo, if you a hoe, enjoy being a hoe. That goes for guys and girls.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
absolutely.
So what happened after?
I mean, we had a laugh about it, and then she got uncomfortable and took off the choker.
Oh God.
Oh, you didn't laugh about it. Yeah, she was self-conscious.
For sure.
Did you fuck?
But I felt uncomfortable. Because that's the first time that I ever said to a girl, like, so you a hoe?
Yeah.
But within our dynamic, it wasn't the worst thing.
No. And
she was fine with it, but it was weird for me to even say those words.
Did you fuck? Don't kiss and tell.
So why'd you ask?
To make the point of not kiss and tell. That's not what we do around here.
All right. It's fucked up because I was going to say, but then I was
no,
we don't kiss and tell.
No, we don't kiss. No, we don't do
That's
that
like
shit.
how quick that was.
We don't do that shit. We don't do that shit.
That was interesting. It was just the choker thing, and I was like, I forgot. I forgot like that has that perception because I don't see it often anymore.
It's a trend. It lasted like 6 months or something.
Yeah, it did, right? It's gone now.
And then some people are still holding on to it. You know, it's like the girls that had the one side shave right here.
Yeah.
That trend is gone. But I see a couple of girls having it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, do you, boo boo? If it was you, it was you.
Do you want to hear a cool theory that I have?
About what?
And I thought about this one.
Oh, you think?
Women with short hair are freakier than women with long hair.
The silence was good after.
I'll let it marinate for a bit.
That's a theory?
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand where you're pointing. But why would you say that?
I mean,
why?
I'll let Wasim get his licks.
I'm just trying to. I'm just thinking.
Why would you say that?
Of the small amount of data I have, and I don't know.
Okay, so
there's inconclusive for me. I don't know.
Here's my theory. All right,
I don't have Genghis Khan numbers. You know what I mean? But,
I wish Genghis was here. He could confirm that shit right away.
yeah.
He'd be like, short hose, short hair hose, assemble, and they just start lining up because he's king. But here's my theory. My theory is this. Hair for women is a huge indicator of beauty, right? Like it's pretty personal to most women. Most women
we're gonna go to the same. I think we're in the same alley.
Right, like when women take their hair super seriously, right? And it's also like something that they're meant to preserve in a specific kind of way because it matters to their image. And I tell myself that any woman who is brazen enough to not only cut her hair but cut it short, right? Probably doesn't have the same inhibitions as women who maintain the long hair and feel compelled to. Does that make sense? Like to me, the society directs you in one direction, which is keep your hair long. We tell people it's beautiful. All their commercials are geared towards that. So if you're enough of a rebel to rebel against that idea, you're probably enough of a rebel to be like, let's do anal. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So it's just like, and in my personal experience.
In theory, yeah. No, go on. No, please.
It's just like if societal norms don't restrict you when it comes to your hair and attire, it probably is less likely to restrict you when it comes to fucking. It's why you don't see religious people with short hair. Religious women. Hit me. Go ahead. Name me one.
A lot.
Name me one. No hair, and that's a black girl thing. That's a different topic.
Oh, now it's different.
And we have to edit that out because her name's in there. We can't bring that up.
Okay, but you asked me to name her.
But that's no black women.
I'm not gonna name you someone you don't know.
Black women's relationship with hair is different than everybody else.
Yeah, they don't want to have it shaved either.
So we have to. That's a different topic.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? We're talking about hair because a lot of black women just have short hair just because.
But I don't know any other.
That's my whole point.
No, I don't know any religious other women that I don't know other religious women. I don't hang around these motherfuckers.
Oh, I know a lot of religious, and almost every religious woman I've ever met has long hair. Every single one.
Religious? What religion?
Even go to Islam. They all have long hair.
Of course, that's Islam.
Yeah, but the short hair, like from Muslim Arab countries, they're not religious.
That's Muslim and Arab countries. So the same way you put black people on one side, I put as a Muslim and Arab people on one side because the relation with the hair is also
on that side too.
Yeah, I keep it on the side. So you cannot take Muslim.
Sure, but you're the one who brought up other religions, so I was just giving.
Okay, and you're the one that fucking put them aside. So if you want to do that, we're gonna do that.
Okay, well, just take white people. Let's just keep it simple.
Yeah, white people. I've seen some short hair white people.
I was going to talk about Buddhist monks, which like, I'm sorry.
With the killer. Yeah. If you just talk about white people, I've seen some short hair white people that are religious all the time.
Really? I never see them.
Yeah,
and here's the other thing. It's just like, generally speaking, most people have confirmed this for me as well, but like short-haired women are just freakier.
There may be something to that, but do you think that extrapolates to like a woman who has more tattoos? Because that's like, I mean, now that's very normal that you're probably just a barista.
I definitely would if we went percent. Like, this is not everyone. This is not a blanket statement. You can't say everybody. That's not what this is. But I would say there's probably an overrepresentation of people who have tattoos are probably more sexual. I wouldn't doubt that.
Sure. I mean, you're talking about like they're not sticking to this cultural norm. So maybe in the bedroom they won't stick to culture.
I'll give you another example. People who are into daredevil-like activities are freakier. So pilots, Doctors Without Borders, war journalists, they have crazy sex lives. Crazy sex lives. And this is well documented.
War journalists?
Yeah, of course, war journalists especially. Because you see conflict all the time, so you stay in the hotel, you fucking each other. You know, I might not make it back tomorrow.
Making me horny.
And so just people
come up to my hotel room.
Now that's an extreme example, obviously. But what I'm trying to say is if you're not going to conform to societal norms, you're probably going to engage in behavior that's outside of that.
possible.
Yeah, it's possible. It's an interesting theory. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's very possible.
But I haven't checked this. I can't comment on that. So
I mean, because you've been with a girl so for long
out there, but
was that? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. It could be a general trend. Yeah. Have you heard? I feel like I've heard so many women in my life being like, "I'm just gonna shave my head one day."
Right? It's a rebellious thing.
I've heard like almost every girl I've dated is like, "One day I'm gonna shave my head."
Yeah.
Like, all right, go
never
for it.
said that.
No.
God.
No. But my thing is like, if you're gonna be that
really
brave,
good on some people.
it does.
Honestly.
It does. But if you're gonna be like, I'm gonna do it, like it's a big step.
Yeah.
That means to me that you're not gonna be restricted by slut shaming and stuff like that as much as a long hair person.
Yeah.
You know.
You're sticking to norms, like societal norms, so you probably may deviate once the doors close. Sure. Yeah. Fair enough.
And it's also like, if you're a hyper religious person, you're not trying to draw attention to yourself with like extreme stuff. So you're not going to show up to church the next day with like pink colored hair. If you like, you know what I mean? Like, because everyone's going to talk. It's not. So if you're really about that life, you're going to just try to conform as much as possible in a lot of your personal choices. Like when I go to church, well, I don't go to church, but like when I've seen churches and when I've been there, right? Like you don't see people dressed in like the most, like black churches, it's its own little thing. But generally, there's a conformity to it, right?
You're not supposed to, even black churches. Like you go.
It's about conformity.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, short hair is not conformity. You stand out immediately.
Sure, and even in religions where they might cut their hair short, like Buddhist monk females, they could cut their hair short. But it's like they're all wearing like pajamas, you know?
Right.
There's conformity. You're all wearing like a weird burlap sack all day.
And if
like
you stand out, you probably are a rebellious person to some degree. Yeah. So you're gonna gauge.
Probably not gonna.
Here's the nail in the coffin. When I say like short hair women are probably more promiscuous, hairdressers got short hair oftentimes.
That was so beautifully matter of fact. And we all know hairdressers.
That was your nail in your coffin.
I like that.
Here's what I know. Like I'm on these streets. Hairdressers are hoes.
That's your nail in the coffin.
Hairdressers are hoes, man. And they be doing the funkiest stuff with their hair. What, you've never heard that hairdressers are hoes? Never?
I've never heard it, but I'm going to be honest, not surprised. I'm not
Bruv, every hair... Listen, like, okay, maybe it's because I hang around niggas who fuck a lot, but, like, they know. We always have this conversation.
Are you you're putting aside as well the black hairdressers or just the white ones?
Again, black people's relationship with hair is different. So I can't talk. You know it's different.
Yeah, fair.
Right? So we can't have that conversation unless we put it that context.
Just sticking to white people.
No.
White people, this one goes out for you.
I mean, listen, if I met an Indian girl, I'd be like, there's no chance we gonna fuck. And then she told me she was a hairdresser, I'm like, 80% chance.
What if she got short hair and a choker? It's over.
I mean, listen, there's just...
This thing is probably the hardest.
Yeah.
Yo, what the hell is this?
Oh, no, I'm fucking you. I didn't even... She wait... Oh, no.
Did you wait for my consent to do this?
I was going to try to call back to Brad Williams, and then I'm like, I don't want that sound bite out there.
You know, and it's funny because you say this stuff and people will be like, oh, but this is sexist, this and that. But we all look for cultural indicators to find out what kind of behavior this person's going to exemplify. So if I see a woman in hijab, I'm probably going to understand certain aspects of her personality. Am I crazy for that? Even though it's not necessarily accurate. You know what I mean? There are hijabi girls who hoe it up. We still look at it and we understand certain signals about it, right?
Like, yo, can we talk about this?
What?
Hijabi girls hoeing it up?
Yo.
Are you bringing up the makeup stuff and all that?
Yeah.
It's complex. So unless you really want to, you understand it. Are you familiar with like Muslim culture like deeply?
No.
No?
I mean, Muslim culture deeply.
No, let's not venture unless we know.
In terms of like, we don't have to go. But like, are we talking about like, because my sister has a term for them, like fashion ninjas. You know, you ever see fashion? There's.
And the funny thing is, like, ninjas are all about anonymity, and then you got people be like, I try to look good in my anonymous self. Yeah. So it's just funny, but keep on going.
Fashion ninjas, but yeah.
I just remember, my sister's a funny person. We were not raised religious at all. My sister still lives in Lebanon. When I go over there, the first time I went, she was like...
My sister lives in Lebanon.
My sister lives in Lebanon, yeah.
Right.
And when I go over there, the first time I went, she was like pointing out the different, like how religious people are, like veiled women. There's the women the Shia women who just all black, always, 45 degrees in the humidity. They're swimming in the sea.
All right.
Black. Everything's like, not like this, but like everything's
covered, they got
right?
scuba gear and everything.
Yeah, and then you have some girl who's like half her hair is covered. And she's got she's done up to the nines. She's wearing
makeup,
heels,
everything.
open-toed. She's like sticking her ass out. There's a fashion
but
ninja.
There's
fashion
that we
beats.
don't see the hair that are like it's not black, but you don't see the hair. But yo,
oh, it's good. Bring it up. Bring it up.
Leggings
and everything in between. Yeah,
everything. Tights.
Yeah.
Makeup done up.
Yeah.
Plump up lips and things.
Yeah, man.
Here.
Yeah.
All the thing are done up. Yeah, you see the girl. You're not supposed to see because she doesn't put the veil upon her hair. Yeah, here. Yeah, she's gonna hide up the hair, but.
Yeah, man.
But you see the whole thing tingling. Yeah, here. They show more than they want to hide. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Yo, he walked down the street and I'm like, yo, me see everything.
Yeah.
Every little thing that me need. Me nah need for see, me see. You hear?
Yeah, man.
It's like...
I've become Jamaican seeing hijabi women.
Yeah.
It's like a big body girl.
Boom.
Yeah.
Why I talk about this celebration. You hear? Yeah. Whoa. It's crazy. Y'all see someone walking out, and I'm like, yo, ain't the purpose of the thing not to be seen a certain way, but then you just put that thing on your head, and the rest of the thing is just, it's just,
Yeah. It makes it, it's like the whole thing is like modesty and not tempting, but I am tempted as
and then
as
you're
fuck,
supposed to not show, temptation, but then you done up your lips. I'm not talking about lipstick. I'm talking about,
shit.
So that thing look plump. And I'm not saying you're not supposed to have that. I'm not judging that.
Yeah, it's just fair enough.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be one thing, but it's not.
I understand in the sense that it's like maybe you're not very religious, but your family is. You know what I mean? And you're like, I'm gonna go if it was up to me, I might not have the hijab, and I'm gonna go this direction and do my fashion it up as much as I can.
But I'm Johnny Cash, I'm walking the line.
Yeah, walk the line. Just so I keep the family happy. I'm sure there's got to be
like all those
a couple cases
Christian,
like that.
Yeah,
right?
no, I definitely imagine there's cases
all those
like
Christian
that.
people that have like crosses and tattoos and stuff like and rosaries. I'm like,
it's
all
also
that shit is religious, but you're not supposed to have tattoos.
Yeah,
it's probably tough because on one hand you want to really follow the letter of the law as best as you can, but you also want that adulation from men or from somebody who's going to potentially be your mate. You want to be able to attract people, so it's like makeup is sometimes like the most modest thing that they can use outside of
There is nothing modest about this thing, yo.
But again, I feel like we're in deep waters right now, and I don't know all the parameters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me neither. And
I don't know. I don't know enough, and so I know I'm speaking ignorantly.
But the thing that happened as well, we're not talking on a judgmental point. We're seeing what is going on.
Yeah,
that is happening.
Observing.
That is happening.
Yeah.
We're not throwing things that are not happening in there. We're not judging. We're not saying, well, you're doing this and you're doing. No, we're not. I'm clearly saying that I don't understand. I'm not looking to understand, and I'm grateful.
You're not looking to understand?
But I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to understand without talking to someone on that perspective. Okay. Like right now, I can't look to understand because if I look for information on the web, it's going to be too much information. I want to be able to talk to someone that is living that and I understand that. And so I'm not looking to understand right now because I don't have the proper tools to understand. But I am grateful.
I imagine there's probably different. There's probably different ways of looking at it because in regards to the Quran and makeup, it's not explicitly clear exactly what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. And so you have imams who are going to interpret things a different way. So there's different ways of viewing this specific topic. But like you said, I think it's just a matter of talking to people who live it and understanding why they do it and what that is. But personally, I don't care. Like nobody's trying to police your bodies, ladies. So y'all live your lives. Okay,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So when I see a hijabi girl walking down the street and she's all done up and she got pony printers, body rider, all of that good. And I'm not gonna be like, no, shame on you, girl. I'm just gonna be like, thank you. Yeah. And I'm not gonna address to the girl, but I'm gonna in my head. Well, thank you very much.
Praise Allah.
Live your beautiful life, girl. Do you? I'm not gonna go shame her. No,
that's what I'll say.
Not at all.
Do you want to bring up the question?
Yeah, have you guys seen the movie Marriage Story of 2019 on Netflix? You haven't?
Marriage Story?
Nope.
Yeah, that's what it was more. Do we have one of the Patreons name? Do we have to name them? Yeah, Kiris Etrama Diraisel.
One of our producers, right?
One of our producers.
$30 tier. Let's go.
Ooh, let's go, girlfriend. She's saying the movie Marriage Story of 2019 being nominated for prizes has been portraying such relationship that triggered an intense divorce process. It showed that sometimes divorce is not always about money or sex, but more about psychological abuse of being unheard, invalidated. I'm really curious to know what are your thoughts and if this movie was being fair to men and or fathers. Now, we haven't seen the movie. We cannot comment on that, but we can comment on the subject of divorce. And because movies are not meant to necessarily be fair.
No, they're telling stories.
I'm at peace with that. They're telling a story. So they're not here to be like, it's not a documentary.
Fair.
It's a movie. So it's just storytelling.
So well, look, people get divorced for different reasons. Majority of the time, it is financial. That's a fact.
Who causes more of the divorces?
Ladies. It was well documented. I think it's like 70 to 80% of divorces. Okay. But
that file for divorce that are like
it's always
most of the time it's initiated.
But if you yeah.
We start it off, they break it off.
That's a good way of putting it. But
someone's gotta
do it. Yeah. I think. Sorry, that got thrown off there.
You look like you have flashbacks.
It's just funny, like that men get on a knee to like propose, but then women get on their knees.
I said that in one of the videos that we did.
To service men.
But a marriage is really just betting. Hey, I bet you at least half my stuff that we're gonna stay together for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And if we don't,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So here's the thing. I think it is true what she said about like some people do leave because they are neglected. Some people do leave because there's a lot of discontent inside their relationship. There's gaslighting, there's abuse. Of course, that's definitely a real reality. And I think any movie that highlights that is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's good to have those discussions and to hear everybody else's stories and why they're going through that process.
Yeah.
But it's not reflective of the majority of people. And that's also important to note that most of us do it for frivolous reasons.
They do what for frivolous reasons?
Divorce. Well, I mean, depends what your definition of frivolous is, but like if finances, if like you're not happy with the financial level of the relationship, to me that's a little frivolous. And because like if you do till death do us part, through thick and thin, and you're like, oh nigga, you lost your job, deuces. Like that doesn't. There's a contradiction in the vows.
That's not very.
And how things are going.
Till Gucci do us part. Yeah.
I ain't got no purses no more, and then she just. The thing that happened is it also depends on how you got married. All these the whatchamacallit, the stars,
right?
All those stars.
Right.
I think they got too much money and they bored, so they get married because they're bored, and then 3 months later,
yeah. I mean, it's also it's a good career move. When you and another actress get together, it looks good for press. It also
keeps you relevant for longer.
100%. So yeah,
because people are interested in your relationship. But I would think, man, like if I had real money, I would be so wary of getting married. I'm already just like I don't necessarily believe in.
I wouldn't.
The institution or the sanctity.
You've been with your girl forever. I'm pretty sure it's like mandatory for you guys.
What do you mean mandatory?
I mean, if y'all been together when you were poor and you get rich, you wouldn't get married?
No.
Really? Interesting.
Maybe, but
you've spent more time together
than
a lot. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of time.
The part, yeah, right. Yeah. We're actually supposed to get married on the day that will mark half of our.
It's a long time. I don't know.
Half of our
so you do plan to get married? Or
no?
It's like up in there.
We planned to get married. We planned that before, and I mean it didn't work because my father got sick. Now he's good. Yeah. And then just the whole process of doing. So I mean, we're not looking into it. We're more looking into having kids than getting married.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think most people would agree that makes a lot of sense.
Kids before.
Yeah.
Kids before.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing with children involved, I can kind of understand why you would sign the paperwork and have all that together. But I'm like, people who don't plan to have kids and have this big frivolous wedding, and I just don't understand it. I don't know. I don't quite get it.
I put a lot of money on the wedding. Put a lot of.
All right, so if you had to pick, you guys getting married? Yes or no?
No.
Nah. Well, married. What you mean married? Like the ring and the
crazy that the single nigga here is the only one who wants to get married.
Yeah, because you haven't lived shit yet. You'll see when you get with that person. You're like, I don't need that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really just kidding. I'm not serious. Yeah. But what do you mean by married? Do you want a big marriage or elope? Elope is a different thing because it's really a me and you thing. Like, let's say,
if I got mad money, I'm doing a big marriage. I'm not gonna be one of those dumb couples who's like making $30K a year in profits between the two of them and they spend it all on a wedding. That's stupid.
That's dumb.
That's dumb to me. That is dumb to me that people go into debt to get a wedding. We're like, that's stupid. But if you ask me if I want a big ceremony, listen, I've never been a big person on weddings. I think like I would go and I'm like, But over time, I thought there was something kind of cool about kind of making that declaration in front of all your friends and family and having them all be there when you acknowledge it. Is it necessary? I'm not going to lie to you. No, I don't think it is. For me, it's an experience that you go through as a festive. And like, me, any excuse to throw a really good party sounds like a great time. You know what I'm saying? So I like the idea. I like the idea of the whole ceremony. And, if I find someone who I think is right for that, then I'd like to do that ideally. That's how I feel. But I'm not disillusioned about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Mary, if I could elope with my girl. I could. Me and her, we do that thing. And
no big party, nigga?
Yo, that's none of your business. Anyways, you wouldn't be invited, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. That'd be so weird if I wasn't invited. Yeah, you know how much drama it would cause? If I wasn't?
If you weren't invited?
Yeah, like, between me and you, it'd be fine. But I'm talking about for everyone else who'd be like, where's Abba? How come Abba not here? How come Abba's not in at all?
Because Abba's not getting married.
What do you mean?
It's my marriage.
Yeah, but people would look at it funny.
But people look at us weird when I go out and you're not there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nigga, he's not my right hand. I'm like, we got separate lives, It's like, what?
But still, it's one of those things where it's like, especially let's say if we were higher profile, it would definitely be a news thing.
And anyways,
like that's unreasonable that you're out in public and nobody sees it. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's stupid.
But like a wedding,
if we were in the States, it would be a huge thing. Yeah. Like it would be like, what?
Well, the drama. Key and Peele no longer get along.
Yeah, it's really that. If we were in the States and we're making big in the States, it would be a major thing, and we'd be like,
what's the key to recovering their relationship?
Yeah, a bunch of tablets.
But cheesy ass headlines. I guess Preach did too much preaching and Abba couldn't handle it.
Written by Wasim El Munzer. Why?
And the worst thing is that you're the one that does the most preaching. You know what I mean? Not me. That's
I'll take that.
And that's what take that. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Like, I don't know.
I'd invite you niggas to my wedding. For sure.
Anyways, I invite you.
You'd be on the first list of people. I
invite you on my birthday, motherfucker. You don't even come. So why would I invite you to my birthday? Why would I invite you to my wedding? You don't show up.
You invite me to your birthday?
Yeah, you a flake, man. You a flake.
Well, a flake is a very strong term. A flake means I committed and I didn't show up.
Did
I commit?
You said you would. Yeah, I'll see. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, I see.
You always see, and even when you come, you're like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm a dip, baby, dip. You a dipper. You a fucking dipper. Yeah.
What event did you invite me to that I just dipped?
My birthday.
When was your birthday?
You didn't even dip. You just.
When was your birthday?
The 15th of June. I always do a barbecue. Every year
I didn't show up to that.
No, you didn't show up.
So I couldn't flake. I couldn't dip.
Finally, you always feel bad. You need to fix your tummy because you always feel, I don't feel good.
Oh, if I was sick, I was sick. That's not flaking, nigga. This nigga think I made it up.
He just wants to. I get it. It's cool. You want you.
No, if I'm not coming and there's no reason for me to not come, I'm not gonna make up a sickness.
There's food.
No, but I meant like if I didn't come, I was legit sick.
All this for real. No joke.
I would come to your wedding.
No. Jokes aside. All this is not real. It's not serious.
I hope so. Because they're looking at like, I knew it. These niggas got problems.
I'm nervous. But for real, tension is palpable.
But for real, the thing. No, but for real, the thing is, no, I did invite you to my birthday, and then you said, no, I'm not gonna. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. But I'm not like, you don't come to my birthday. I'm not gonna invite you to my wedding, nigga. Like,
I'll come to your birthday.
No, you're not.
I will. I promise.
No, you're not.
On June 15th.
Not gonna do it June 15th.
When you can do it?
Are you ready to eat though?
I'll eat.
Can I come?
This nigga killed me. He really said that shit.
Yes, we'll see you. Of course.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're the first on the list.
All right.
Later. Shit. All right.
Yeah, because I know you would actually come. You'd actually show up.
Okay. All right. That's it for today's podcast episode. We'll be getting petty off camera.
No.
We just want to thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back next week.